Okay, hello, welcome. Hi, welcome to Geekin' Out. All right, so this is our show, Geekin' Out. It is a podcast dedicated to like-minded individuals gathering together, celebrating geek culture, everything nerddom, and just having fun. Just having a discussion. We have our illustrious panel this evening. We're going to start with our introductions. So first off, we're going to introduce Julian Ramirez. Julian is an artist, a science nerd, fantasy buff, and gamer extraordinaire. Say hey, Julian.
Hey there, everybody. How's everyone today?
Hello, hello.
How you doing, Chris?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you for being here. Next, we have Rakia Ware. Rakia Ware is an educator and a social media guru. She's got it going on. Say hello, Rakia.
Hey, everybody.
All right. We've got Duryea Rashad. He's a writer, acting coach, digital media producer. He hosts our sister podcast, which is Talk It Out. It also streams weekly every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure you catch that if you're a fan of Geekin' Out. Say hey, Duryea.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
You all right?
I mean, yeah. Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all know me. I'm ready for the show. I'm ready for the show.
He's ready.
All right.
And you know me. I am Chris Steele, or hopefully you know me, but I'm Chris Steele. I am an operations manager at a local retail store. I am a lifelong theater advocate and theater participant and aspiring supermodel of the world. So, obviously.
Yes.
This week, normally we have Jessa Garrett, who's our fifth panelist normally. Tonight, she is making her coin. She's got an interview, honey, that is going to be making her some money. So, I mean, it's also her birthday. So we'll give her a break.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Jessa.
We miss you.
So tonight we have an extra special guest judge. Not judge. This is
right.
Sorry. An extra special panelist. Right. We have an extra special panelist. His name is JC Collinworth. He is actually the founder of Gamer Allied People of Color, which is a progressive brand that's dedicated to introducing people of color, homosexual nerds, and allies from like a culture perspective. It's abbreviated GAPOC for short. And his brand facilitates an exclusive voice for Black and brown nerds that normally would be either diluted, muted, or dismissed in systematically gay or white, like gay and white spaces and groups. So we are really, really glad to have JC tonight. JC, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's been a Monday, but I'm good. I'm here.
It's been a Monday.
To be here with you guys. Yeah, it's definitely been a Monday. Trust me. Like up until minutes before this. So yeah.
Well, we're really, really glad and excited to have you here. Thank you for joining us. So now we have met our panel. Actually, before we get into what we're going to be geeking out about tonight, which is our first little segment, we're going to take a very short break, very short, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back, okay?
Hey, it's Rakia.
And Duryea.
Hey, I'm Chris.
It's Jessa.
And Julian.
So have you guys heard about Anchor? If you haven't, it's great. And it's honestly the easiest way to do a podcast. Let us explain. First off, it's free.
And you'll have all the tools you need to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
And Anchor will even distribute your podcast for you. So as soon as you're finished uploading, you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other platforms.
And guess what? You can make money off of your podcast with no minimum listenership.
It's basically a one-stop shop for everything you need. So go download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And make sure you come back and geek out with us.
Okay, awesome.
Basically a one-stop shop for everything you need. So go download the free Anchor app.
Sorry. Okay. All right. So this is the part of the show where we all get to talk about what we're actually geeking out about currently. We do this every time. So I am going to start with Duryea. What are you currently geeking out about right now?
Well, actually, before I say necessarily what I'm geeking out about, I want to take this as a time for us to just acknowledge the life, the career, the journey, and the storytelling power of Chadwick Boseman, who passed.
Yes.
It was really
Absolutely.
how like sad I got when I heard it. You know, when people are celebrities, we don't know them, right? You know what I'm saying? But there's such a deep attachment to these people who have helped us. Art is so beautiful because it helps each and every person deal with shit that they might not ever be able to say. The representation that in Black Panther was huge worldwide, but even before that, he's given us some really amazing stories about some really amazing people in history. You don't think about it until they're gone. So everything in a nutshell, just to talk about, and I know everyone's feeling that, and you can see it in the outpour of support that he got within hours of us finding out about it. The fact that this man went through this stuff alone, not alone, but without letting everyone know about it and just spirited through, it kind of puts a lot of things in perspective when you find yourself trivially arguing about unnecessary stuff. He's a legend, he's an icon, and he will be greatly missed.
Agreed.
Agreed.
I agree. Indeed.
Do you have anything that you're currently geeking out about right now?
If y'all wanted to hop in on the Chadwick train.
Well,
I mean, we can. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
So it was very shocking.
I thought it was loud. Yeah.
It was very.
I mean,
shocking.
I had no idea. Did anyone have any idea?
No one.
I think it's that undercover part of that was just really surprising, you know. Just like everyone was so blindsided by it, you know. And it's
someone so healthy.
Yeah, and the fact that he was able to, right? Yeah, who was so fit and everything like that. You know, you think that. I mean, but that's the point here, I guess, is that like, you know, cancer comes in very different forms. You know.
Well, something that I found that was informative. I've actually got a telehealth appointment with my doctor this week, and I am getting a colonoscopy, and I'm also getting my throat checked because as gay men, they say that HPV is 8 and 10, and that's the leading cause in gay men toward colon cancer and throat cancer. Also, there's a member of the group who's actually 29 years old. I won't disclose his name, but he found out he had colon cancer when he was 26. So, I noticed Sanjay Gupta was on CNN earlier today. He kind of danced around saying lifestyle choices. That kind of confirmed that I needed to get with my doctor. So he was kind of mildly saying, if you participate in alternative lifestyles, you need to get tested because the only way they'll find out is through a PAP. It will not be through blood work. They have to do a skin test. And if you never get it done, you won't know you have it until it's too late.
And what's sad is that like there's some of these, you know, illnesses or diseases that you want to get checked for, they like most doctors won't do it until you're a certain age, and so to have someone pretty young or even getting tested that young just seems like that's hard to do, especially when they're thinking like, oh well, you're not at this certain age yet and you seem fine, so we don't want to worry about it. But like, no, like make sure you advocate for yourself to get the things that you need.
And honestly, don't be afraid. Really don't. And like do these things because like as he says that, I literally just got tested for like a range of things the other day. And then to both points, you definitely want to just go and do it. Just, you know, it's 2020. There's no shame anymore. Like just go do the things you got to do. But also when you're there, you know, ask for a full panel, but you always have to ask for certain things in addition to, there's certain things that they don't do standard. For example, gonorrhea, chlamydia as well. And then chlamydia as well. I would ask for it, you know. Syphilis, I know they don't do that, but I mean that's if you have like signs, I'd say. And I think there's like one more I can't think of right now. But you know, these are things that you go and you get your SCI check, but in addition to, you should ask your doctor for these things because they don't do them standard until you ask. So just keep that in mind.
And I'm not going to disclose too much about this person, but I have a family member. And that's for their privacy because they're a private person. But I had a family members, plural, who found out they had colon cancer. It was later in life, but I mean, ever since, you think that it's this thing that men don't really tell people when they're sick. it's really weird. I didn't realize it. They don't tell people when they're sick. It's very common to have men who just hide that stuff and deal with it alone. And that's your choice, but just making sure that you take a moment to take care of your body and your mind. And they don't teach a lot of stuff in school. They don't teach how to do your taxes, what to ask for when you go to the doctor's office, insurance. These are things that we need to make sure that we take time to teach our children and all of that stuff. So just Chadwick Boseman, beautiful man, beautiful legacy, great energy, and it bled through everything he did. And I'm gonna leave it with that. I love you. All right. Now I'll tell you what I'm geeking out about. Okay. So I'm geeking out about New Mutants in the worst way possible. In the worst way possible. Okay. So New Mutants they said this is our farewell to the 20-year saga that is the X-Men, which is true. X-Men came out in 2000. 2020 is the last X-Men movie. However, I haven't seen it, but the reviews are horrible. Horrible. First of all, the director I already had issues with when I found out that Sunspot was a white man. Now, granted, the saving grace was that Sunspot, the guy who played Sunspot, was Brazilian, right? So when I looked at the picture, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, it's all right. But then they said they took his accent away too. So this man had no accent and he was like white. Oh. And then the director got online and said, well, I don't really care about racism. And then
couldn't even make him a spicy white.
Nothing, right? And then turns out that one of the versions of the script had Storm as a villain, where she was like a sadistic jailer for all the New Mutants. So now he's canceled.
Your faces.
Right. Now he's canceled. Apparently
he deleted his Instagram.
Yeah, he deleted his Instagram because they was going on his ass. Look, ain't nobody that shit. No.
Yo.
We got time for it. What do y'all thought?
That's his own fault for posting it in the first place.
Look. You don't.
He didn't think he was gonna catch fire for that.
Right. He had the nerve to come out and be like, "Yeah, I said it."
Oh, okay. Well,
I guess that's who he is.
Chris
cancels him, but
he canceled himself.
So I guess I'm not gonna go see New Mutants. I guess I shouldn't go see New Mutants then.
The co-creator of New Mutants actually spoke out and he said he submitted all of his suggestions about the film to Josh Boone. He threw them all out, which is contradictory to his Instagram when he very first started shooting. I think he started shooting in 2017, late around 2018 in the new year. He actually posted an Instagram post with him in his living room, and he had a ton of New Mutant books. And so under my initial impression, I was like, oh, this is great. And then, of course, Rosario Dawson originally got cast as Cecilia Reyes, and she walked. There's still a little bit of mystery as to why she left the film, but to have her replaced with Alice Braga, I actually defended this for a minute, and I was like, I get it, she's passable, but they're on a budget and a time frame. We kind of just got to let this go. And then I saw the guy that they got to play Bobby, and he was actually, I think he was in 13 Reasons Why, and he was in a couple of other shows, and I was like, okay, maybe this is a talent issue, and their pool is limited, because in Days of Future Past, they did get some of the casting right. Of course, Omar Sy is one of the darkest skinned performers who has ever been cast in an X-Men film, and he played Lucas Bishop. So albeit a minor, role, I was like, Fox can't be tone deaf on this. They've gotten diversity right in certain cases. And then this interview came out, and I was like, I'm not even gonna go see this. There was already rumors about Anya Taylor-Joy being a complete bitch on cast. People were saying Maisie Williams actually did an interview saying she was not coming back to the film because of her. So there was some backstage drama with this, but for Josh Boone to get ahead of this the week the movie is coming out and just shoot it in the foot, as much as I don't want Disney to have the film because Disney's going to sit on this and they were going to sit on the franchise, I was just like, let's try to savor this. Let's try to, gather support. Noah Hawley wrote a treatment for Dr. Doom that has not been scrapped by Disney. There was a treatment that was written for James Franco to play Multiple Man in a rated R film that was not scrapped by Disney. So I was like, let's support New Mutants. But after this, I'm just like, forget it. I'm good.
To me, I feel like I feel like this movie should have never even been on the table, to be honest. Like, I don't feel like there was enough interest, sadly, amongst people who weren't nerds to see this movie. You know what I mean? I feel like when you have the world like X-Men, there's so many stories that people are ready to hear. Like, I want to see the Scarlet Witch finally. Lil T. So I think it was Days of Future Past. What's his name? Quicksilver is playing with a baby, right? So the initial thought was that this baby was Wanda, but no. In one of the extended cuts, they mentioned that she's upstairs and the baby was supposed to be Polaris. And I was like, so where's that story? Because y'all sat on that one. And that would have been an interesting story for us to watch. It would have been interesting for us to watch an origin story of Storm, an origin story of Rogue, a good one, like Mystique and all them damn kids she got running around, adopted or not. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so there are so many
other than Wolverine. Hello.
But they think that major audiences want Wolverine. Like, to me, I'm like, look, I'm cool without Wolverine because I know when shit go down, Wolverine is pretty much useless. Like, he's like, what do they call, like when you put all the people, you're not worried about him, you put him in the front. Like, we know you can take a hit, but other than that, like, you're not gonna kick nobody's ass. As soon as somebody
he's the barricade.
As soon as somebody come through with some powers, you're fucked. I mean, you might not die, but
there are so many mutants in that universe that you can make stories or like create stories for. So many good mutants.
Agreed.
I don't know why they have to invent new mutants. I agree with you on that. All right. Well, let's move on to the next person. Julie, what are you geeking out about?
What am I geeking out about this week? Well, okay, so last time I think we were doing Legend of Korra, I finished it. I came to the end of it finally all over again, which is always great. And then actually I was just reading a post somebody had they were talking about how they're going through their first run of Legend of Korra and everything. So they like after the first season it was great. You know, they just finished the second and they're like, oh, we're ready for the third and all. You know, the third I think seems to be the most popular or one of the most popular of them. It is really good. It is really good. That one I would say. It's a lot of like origin story for like the Airbender nation, the Airbending nation and things, which they didn't really focus on as much before. But like this really brought their culture a little bit more to life. It was really nice. And then not only that, like, oh my god, the animation, and then Tenzin is so daddy in this whole motherfucking
not daddy.
Like, oh my god, this whole season he is so daddy the whole time. Like everything he does, he's always like pulling out stops, and then like if you've seen it at the end of it, he definitely like shines. Like, you know, he just shines the whole way through, but like, you know, at the end he has a pretty glorious moments. But I don't know. It was a good season. So I like kind of blew through that one at the end already, and then you know I'm getting all this nostalgia because I just saw it, and it's been nice. What else? I want to get into Lovecraft Country. I hear a lot about it. I don't know if anyone knows, but I'm thinking about.
But I hear
breaking into that soon. Yeah, it's on like regular HBO.
What is that?
I thought it was on like HBO Max, but it's on. Oh yeah,
Lovecraft Country is like about. I actually found out through somebody on my Facebook page, and they were like, Lovecraft is synonymous or was a person who is connected to like really racist shit. I didn't do the research, so I'm not going to try to act like I did.
Yeah.
The purpose of it is basically Jordan Peele, because the story is basically these black people going throughout like a time journey and fighting white supremacy, but in the form of like different things. Mm-hmm. And some of it's like horror, some of it's sci-fi, some of it's historical, and it's got Journey Smollett. That's all you need to know. Okay, go see it. Like when I tell you, every time she shows up on camera, she's ready to serve. She's ready to give. Every time she was this small, bro. Mm-hmm. Now, I just love her. She did an interview recently where she finally like spoke about her brother's incident. She didn't really speak on it in depth, but she did say it was tough going through something like that, and she believes what it says.
Her brother Jesse.
Jesse. This motherfucker said Juicy.
Juicy Smoothie. Isn't that his name? Juicy Smoothie?
No. You're trying to be funny. Okay.
No. I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
This is a really cool one though.
What do you mean?
I like the premise of this one though a lot because I like it a little bit, and okay, I liked it a lot at the beginning, and then I kind of forgot about the fact that Lovecraft is kind of an asshole. So Lovecraft is he like, you know, he's an author, I think, or something like that. I think he like wrote a book or some bullshit, but he like made up these old gods and like this whole like ritual shit that goes around it and stuff, and it's become like kind of like a cult following in its own way is the point here. And I think that's like the other forms, the creatures that they are and things like that. I think it's kind of like them in human form. I think that's kind of the underlying part there, and it's like based on the Lovecraftian horrors, and which is I think what he had written, or stories that he had written. But he happens to be racist, which like kind of cancels him. But I'm like kind of sad because like I kind of liked those stories because I know I have read a few of them, and like they do use a lot of that lore in like a lot of other like sci-fi and other like geek like cultures. They use that same reference, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're on mute, Duryea. I know you're talking.
Duryea, are you talking?
It looked like he was.
I was, but don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't even worry about it. All right, he said to move on.
Okay.
All right, JC, I would love to hear what you're geeking out about right now. So tell us what you are geeked out about right now.
Why didn't y'all tell me this was still on the screen?
So I'm geeking out about Lovecraft Country. I explicitly didn't say anything because I'm watching, caught up, know some of the things about it, and I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but I strongly encourage you guys to go watch it because it's not what you guys think.
You mean based off of what we just were saying?
I'm geeking out. Yeah, there's actually a post that came up earlier. There's so many Easter eggs in the show. Something without being spoiler heavy is that you consistently see the book, The Count of Monte Cristo.
Ooh, good book.
There is also a woman in the story whose name is Hippolyta, whose daughter's name is Diana. There's some interesting things going on with these names. If you go and research Leticia, she's actually the saint of she's a virgin martyr of a Spanish cult. There's episode 3, which kind of may have addressed that a little bit. You have Montrose, who actually is a 1640s novel called The Life of Montrose. There are some parallels between that and his character. Atticus, the main character, seems to be a bit of an investigator, which is parallel to Atticus Finch being an attorney in To Kill a Mockingbird. There are some other... We are now, originally we started a watch party with my local chapter in the group. Our watch party is kind of turning into this mystery study session now. We even missed something where there was a ghost in the show, and there's this boy, and he says that he's going down south. He's wearing a white shirt, black tie with a white stripe in the middle. And the ghost says he's not going to enjoy his trip. The ghost was actually the spirit of Emmett Till. And the boy that they were talking to was Emmett Till before he took his trip and got killed.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, all right. It is a show that you must see.
Ooh,
I'm geeking about this immensely. Yeah, I can't say anything else because I don't want to spoil it. This show is absolutely stunning. I am very well pleased. Yeah.
I am super intrigued now.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Look,
But is it gonna make me cry? Because I'm a little cried out right now.
Yes.
I'm an empath right now. Like I need a break.
Oh my god. Yes, no, I need it.
Episode 2 is named Whitey on the Moon. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Jill Scott's poem, the civil activist from the 60s, Jill Scott. He wrote a poem called Whitey on the Moon, and they actually incorporated it into the show. At the beginning of episode 3, I don't know if you guys are familiar with ballroom community, but Precious Ebony did a Nike commercial for Laomi, and she wrote a poem called Fly Laomi Fly. That is at the beginning of episode 3. The name of that episode is also Holy Ghost, and they actually play that into everything. Just has something to do with That's just good. I can't get into it. This show is amazing.
You're basically like, what I like about it is I always like when supernatural horror type genres blend in and mesh with like real shit. You know what I'm saying? Like in historical stuff. And it's just so fun. Yes. I love that kind of stuff. I just got chills just you describing that for me. So
that just sounds so like well thought out,
yeah,
and just organized well. Like that sounds so good.
You know what?
It sounds like it's more about like
it is.
Sorry, Duryea may need a break from crying, but I need a catharsis. I need some tears. So I'm ready for it.
I'm totally there with you.
It definitely is gonna, it's gonna bring you to terms with a lot of things that you normally saw in history. This show really propels everything on a 180 to show you what would have happened if we could have gotten justice on a supernatural level with a lot of tendencies, and we were given the recognition that we were due instead of being ignored for 400 years. So if you're in a position where you can be sensitive to that, this show is definitely going to move you.
Lord.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Jordan Peele.
Powerful.
Lord.
I'm ready for that. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that, because that's in the wish list right now.
Right.
Rakia, what you geeking out about?
Ooh, okay. So I because of rewatching Black Panther, so like Black Panther was like a big deal for me and like for my little ones. So like we had to make sure we watched it this weekend. So we watched Black Panther, but then I was also kind of going backwards and watching some of the other films that included Black Panther. So I was kind of going through like a Marvel maze a little bit this weekend. But speaking of Marvel, I know it's been out for a little bit, but I started watching the Inhumans, and I can't really just. So
is that a TV show?
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus right now.
Huh.
So
why have I never heard of this?
I don't know, but it's
Used to be
been
on,
out
like,
for at least a year or two.
I don't know.
Yeah, so it's the Inhumans.
Maybe.
So like they're on a different planet, I guess on the moon or something like that, and they're not. I guess they're not technically mutants, but like most of the people, or it's like an elite part of the people have powers, and then if you don't have powers, you're human, and so like you're like gone to work in the mines. So like it's been an interesting view. Like one of the characters, Medusa, had like this awful like red wig. So I'm like,
Rakia does not stand for awful wig.
Look. No.
She does not stand for an awful wig.
I do not care for. Look.
Where is the production?
Oh goodness, no, because that's how I feel. Like if you're in certain places where you should be able to get a good wig,
get a good wig.
Get a good wig. Don't be filming in Atlanta when Mall is right down the street. You can get a better wig there than what I see on the screen. Don't do that to me.
A cheap wig in Atlanta will hook you up though.
Right. So, but they got rid of that wig, so it's interesting. So I'm kind of like dabbling into the Inhumans a little bit. It's just I don't think it got a lot of promotion since no one else really knows what it is, but
I've heard of it, but I've never actually like seen it. I've heard the title.
It's okay so far. I'm dabbling a little bit.
Quick question: do we have time for one more geeking out thing, Chris? That I'm geeking out about?
Has Chris even talked about what he's geeking out yet?
He has not. My bad. If we have time, I have one more thing I want to real quick. After you though.
Okay, sure. I mean, mine's probably not going to be that long. So, actually, what I'm geeking out about right now, I don't even know if you'll consider it like geeking out, but I am like obsessed, and I'm just like, true crime podcasts right now are like my obsession.
True crime, like the HBO series?
No, just like actual true crime podcasts, like Serial, In the Dark, Up and Vanished. I have literally like in the past 2 weeks eaten some like true crime podcasts. Well, but there's a reason. I grew up, and when I was 12 years old, my grandmother was murdered. I know she was murdered. My family knows she was murdered. The person that murdered her got away kind of scot-free, but one of the things that like kind of happened through all of this was like my sister and I. My sister actually requested the GBI file with all the files like on my grandmother's case, just to see like if they would submit it, and they did. And then we looked over and poured over like hundreds of pages of documents over like the course of one night, and just kind of read everything that there is about this about her murder. Well, what we know is murder, what they are calling a death. And what we could suss out. And so anyways, it started kind of a little miniature obsession with trying to find the truth on that, but also in the meantime trying to hear some justice on a podcast. So like I've been eating them just like voraciously. But that's what I'm geeking out about currently. I know that's a little darker.
Honestly,
it's not that it's dark.
I can relate though, because that's like the what is it, unsolved mysteries and stuff. Well, I can relate on that. Yeah. But it's like unsolved mysteries. I do love that one. That's kind of like the probably sharp line. So it's like kind of there with you.
But if I start a separate podcast about my grandmother's murder one day, you're all invited to listen to it and also agree with me. But you have to agree.
You have to agree, though.
Yes.
I mean, it's interesting because my mom likes watching and being into that kind of stuff, and I've always wondered why. Like your story makes me understand why you would be into that. I don't really get why my mom is into it, but it's super entertaining. A lot of people like there's a whole. I'm not trying to. There's networks dedicated to that type of material. You know what I mean? So it's definitely got an audience for it. Okay, real quick, because I know we gotta wrap this segment up. Okay, so what I'm geeking out about is Alyssa Milano and Rose McGowan Twitter beefing.
Ooh.
Yes. Do y'all know about this?
No, spill the tea. Show the class.
Basically, after the Democratic National Convention, Rose McGowan got online and said, "What have the Democrats done for us other than enslave Black people and push for the Black vote?"
Yes.
Promote the patriarchy. So Alyssa Milano got up and started listing all the things. She started listing all the things that the Democratic Party did for Black people, women, all this other thing. Granted, a lot of this stuff was post the flip.
Yeah.
Before the flip. Anyway, Rose McGowan she gave no fucks, okay? She came out, she said, "First of all, bitch, you stole the Black Lives Matter, not the Black Lives Matter movement, the Me Too movement.
Oh, she sure did.
And then you took my struggle and made it all about you too. And you made living on that set toxic as fuck. You were rude to the cast members, and every time we got renewed for a season, I cried just because I knew I was gonna have to be around your bitch ass for a little bit more time."
Yikes.
She didn't say that bitch ass, I added that. And then she was like, okay, and then she was like, "Now who's the fucking fraud?"
Ooh.
So what's crazy about that is after all that was said and done, the lady, I forget her name, Nell Scoville, I think is her name. She works on Charmed. And she made this post kind of like referencing the two. And at the end of the post, she goes, "I guess all that material I've been writing for the last 3 months is a waste."
Yikes.
Oh, shit.
I know.
No.
I just had to tell that story and get that off my chest.
I mean, Shannon Doherty tried to tell y'all a while ago. I don't want to listen.
She did.
Mind you, though,
and everyone came for her saying that she was a toxic one.
Wait, say it again.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You said Holly Marie Combs said something?
Oh, Holly Marie Combs, she chimed in and she was just like, did we all get along? No. Does that make us a family? Yes. And then Shannon Doherty was like, "Thank you to the Charmed fans." And then Patricia Arquette got in the middle of the shit. So it became Charmed versus Medium. I put the screenshots up in the group, but they got into a "what have Democrats done?" And then Rose McGowan was like, "Don't you need to be wearing some little black dress on the red carpet? Don't be trying to school me on what Democrats have done. My family has fought for Democrats." And then Patricia Arquette was basically like, "Well, bitch, my family fought for Democrats too. So are we going to have this conversation?" Somebody blocked somebody. Alyssa ended up blocking everybody. It was terrible.
But this is my thing. And I know we're not going to get too far off in the topics of the politics, but this is the thing. Both parties are kind of fucked in certain ways. There's things that they both need to fix. Democrats aren't all pro. There's some policies that have screwed us over, but that doesn't mean that I'm about to get into a whole nother. Let me not even go there. Yep. All right, I'm done.
Listen, I just want to see Charm versus Medium. I feel like that's the crossover that we all missed.
I want the Charm. I want a Charm Buffy crossover.
You know, right?
I'll take Charm.
Yes,
Buffy.
I'll take that. All right, Chris. That's all I had to say.
All right. Well, perfect. Well, then now we're going to segue into our the chunk of the conversation, which is Anime 101. So,
but first,
I'm sorry, I chose this topic.
Wait for a second. I think we have to do something first. An ad break.
Oh, we should definitely. You know what? I think we're going to do an ad break right now. And while we're doing that ad break, you guys don't go anywhere. Just stay right there.
Hi, this is Cody from Cody Paul Media. Thank you for joining me. Anybody can record a video, but the question is, how do you make that video stand out among the rest? A quick animated video like this one can change things around for your company, so go to codypaulmedia.com and get those needs met today. See you later.
That was cute.
All right, that was cute. All right, we back. Woo! All right, so now we are going to jump into the chunk of our conversation tonight, which is anime. And I have chosen topics tonight that were geared more towards a discussion on anime in general rather than specific anime titles, because I know that many of us have differing levels of anime experience, but it was something that I thought that we should all talk about, because I know that we've already talked about some of it before, just briefly. So first, I just want to get kind of a sense from everybody what their relationship with anime is. If you like anime, if you watch anime shows, if you have some favorite shows, you're welcome to name them. But I just want to see where everybody's connection to anime is, if there is any. And I'm going to start with Duryea.
For me personally, I'm slightly anime illiterate. It's like, you know how you can speak Spanglish, but you can't be fluent in Spanish. That's how I am when it comes to anime. For me, I got into anime the first time I ever, I didn't really consider, the first anime I was into was Pokemon. Let's be honest, which I didn't consider anime at the time because it was so mainstream. And most anime, I understand, most people who follow anime, it's not really that mainstream, the kind of things that they watch, but Pokemon was literally everywhere. There was freaking 2 feature films. So, and video games and all that stuff like that. But after that, the next anime I got into was Inuyasha. Inuyasha was the shit. It was so good. So basically, it was one night, late at night, back when Adult Swim was a thing. Is that still a thing?
It's still a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still a thing.
It was one of them nights. Do y'all remember what TV used to cut off?
Yes.
When it used to go to the static. And so I was so happy because finally it didn't go to the static. It started doing Adult Swim. So I was watching it one night, and I don't know if I was asleep and woke up and saw it on TV, but it was halfway through an episode and I just got hooked immediately. I think I saw the monk with the thing whip off his thing and go, and I was like, oh, what is this? And then ever since then, I was into that. The other anime I was into Yu-Gi-Oh! And I didn't like Digimon, but I watched it a couple of Saturdays. Last episode, we had a debate on whether Avatar was considered anime, which I don't think it is. But if it is considered anime, then Avatar. But I don't think that is anime. Which is a conversation. I see your face, JC. I see your face.
Still a hard no. I think it's still a hard no.
It's not a hard no. If any, it might be a soft no, but it's not a hard one. But anyway, that's where I am with anime.
Okay, all right. Respected and taken in. All right. So we're gonna next go to my friend Julian, and we're gonna hear what Julian's connection to anime is. I think Julian's got a little bit richer connection.
Okay. Anime. I watch anime. I love anime. Actually, I've watched a lot. I've seen it. I've seen a solid amount. I wouldn't say I'm I wouldn't say I know as much as certain people that I do know. I do have a lot of friends who probably have watched more than I have ever. But I have a pretty solid amount under my belt. I do love it. As far as my connection to it, I've been watching it for forever, and probably started with Dragon Ball Z, the same as everyone else, right? Because that was one of the most mainstream ones. Still is, and I would actually say the mainstream ones are still anime, like Dragon Ball Z, and then Inuyasha. I would still consider them anime.
But I don't consider Inuyasha as mainstream as Dragon Ball Z.
Well, no, not as mainstream, but still, I would still consider them anime. You know what I mean? They're still, or Pokemon. That's what you were talking about. Pokemon. I would still consider that anime, even though, it might be mainstream. It's not. Anime doesn't necessarily have to live in the closet. It just has for so long That's why like it kind of, you know, they kind of go hand in hand, but it doesn't have to actually be there, you know. I think what distinguishes anime, well, we'll get to that a little bit later, but I guess my connection to it otherwise was definitely like Dragon Ball Z. Digimon, I was more into Digimon than into Pokemon, to be perfectly honest. I had like watched Pokemon a little bit, but not as much. So like everybody's like into Pokemon, they like played it on the Game Boy and stuff like that, but I never had a Game Boy, so I never like played it and stuff like that. So I never like I didn't fall in love with it the way everyone else had. Well, at least some of my geekier peers and stuff. Definitely Full Metal Alchemist. Oh my god, the best one. It is so fucking good. My heart melts every time. There's like this one part, I think in like season 3, where it's like him and Winry, and then he's like, she's got the gun, he's like taking her hands off of her. Oh my god, it's so good. It's like heart-wrenching. I'm crying. I'm like, this anime is on it. It's on point. So Full Metal is definitely like one of my top ones. I'm gonna name like 1 or 2 more. Magi is amazing. Oh my god, I love that one. It is so stupid sometimes too. I'm not gonna lie, because it gets like, it's like, you know, it's silly. It gets like silly in its own way. But that shit, the animation is really well done. I think that's like my big draw. That, and I like their magic system. I like that. I like how I think it's well thought out. And
that's the one with the gym, right?
And the Labyrinth of Magic, or or that one, I think is like the 3rd season or something like that. Totally, like it like revs up into that, and like that season like kills it. And then what else? I don't know. I have a lot. I have so many. I don't want to, like, you know what I mean? I could just like go through the list and stuff. But I guess
I got him started.
I have anything Studio Ghibli. Totally love anything Studio Ghibli as well, by the way. Any of them. Of course. Howl's Moving Castle is like number 1, but all of them.
Okay.
Love anime.
Okay. Well, thank you. And look, we're going to get to a point in this conversation at the very end where we're going to start like a list for people that have maybe no connection to anime or little connection to anime, so that they have some references, some titles that they can go see. Feel free to add some of those to the list. All right.
Oh, definitely.
Next, we're going to move on to JC. JC, what connection do you have to anime? Drury already told me that you might have a little bit of a background, so tell me what you got.
My connection to anime started in it was probably my first year in foster care, and I was a little bewildered by the situation. And I just happened to have Sci-Fi Channel on, and it was the very first time that I saw Vampire Hunter D. Before, I used to clock Ronin Warriors and Sailor Moon at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I did not know what it was. It was back when TV used to shut off, and at 5 o'clock, I would just happen to be staying at my grandmother's house, laying on the couch, and blip out of a nap and see this cartoon. I'm like, oh, this is dope. And then the news was on, and I was like, ew, what's that? So that was kind of like an early pre-digest romance to what ended up becoming this robust, complicated relationships that my boyfriends and other friends don't seem to always understand. It's kind of like it's just been this long developing tryst. I'm not going to list anything yet because I don't want to scare you guys unless you guys want me to. But that was my introduction, and it's been a long developing relationship since. I'm very satisfied with where it is, though, as complicated as it may be between good and bad ones.
Yeah, there's some bad ones, though. I have to say that you still end up loving. So it's like you appreciate them in a weird way.
I've liked some bad ones too, or things that I thought weren't like necessarily good that would probably be considered bad. But yeah, no, I mean, to each his own. Hey, we all have our guilty pleasures.
I know that's right.
All right, Rakia, tell me what your experience is with some anime.
Okay, so I was definitely into Pokemon, but my introduction to anime was coming home from school, probably 4th or 5th grade. Toonami was on, and watching Sailor Moon. I would always get home right in the middle of an episode and be so pissed off because shortly after, Dragon Ball Z, and I wanted to watch Sailor Moon. So nothing against Dragon Ball Z. I really wanted to watch as a 10-year-old girl. I wanted to watch Sailor Moon. So I've actually been getting back into Sailor Moon now. Not the Toonami version, but the new dubbed one that's been on Hulu. Been watching that lately.
The Crystal series?
Yes, that one. I think I'm into like the second or third season. It's kind of a doozy. I feel like, or maybe I just didn't get that far into the earlier version to not really understand. But so definitely Sailor Moon. Did Pokemon. I would catch Inuyasha on Adult Swim, and then like whatever else that they would have. Like if I woke up in the middle of the night, whatever they had on during that time, I would catch that. So like that's like the bulk of my anime experience is just like catching blips of some and not being able to like fully like get immersed in it because of just timing. So it's very limited. I mean, it's some of the mainstream ones. Like I kind of watched Digimon a little bit. Definitely was into Pokemon a lot because I played the game and had the Game Boy and all the other stuff to it. So that's about it. Like I'm pretty green when it comes to anime.
And that's okay. We like having a diverse panel. So personally, my connection to anime, I am actually a lot my origin story is a lot like Rakia's. I, as a 13-year-old boy, had the brain of a 10-year-old girl and came home every day and caught that Toonami Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon was my life back then, but I guess I maybe try to tell some people at school one time, like, hey, have you ever seen Sailor Moon? And first of all, that was the gayest thing that you could ever say. The gayest. And second of all, like,
I remember that too. It was the gayest thing you could say back then. Don't come to school talk about those Sailor Moon unless you try to get your ass beat.
Right? Like, you're a 13-year-old boy. Like, why are you watching cartoons? Like, what's wrong with you? So after I watched Sailor Moon, and I watched it in secret, and I loved it. And I didn't really watch Dragon Ball Z. I caught a few episodes here and there, but that wasn't as much my speed then. I think I would love it now, but that wasn't as much my speed then as Sailor Moon was. Like I really identified with Dim Gurus. And so yeah, I shut anime completely out and said, no, that is something that is, you can't like that and be a popular, accepted person in life.
Right.
And then
that's true for like most geek culture, I feel. Well, back then at least.
So I absolutely even all through college was like, anime, really? Okay, whatever. And then one day I think it might have been Soul Eater. I started watching Soul Eater, which is one of my favorite animes. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to name that title because it's so good. And I got back in it hard. Like I've watched title after title after title after title after title, and just really gotten back into the anime culture. And I identify with the magic. Like I love magical stuff, anything magical. So like that's one of my like big draws to it. And I love pretty animation. The Japanese have such an art form of animation that I appreciate it. So anyways, I'm back in it hard now for several years, but that was kind of my intro, and then the exodus, and then re-intro back into anime. So that's where I am now currently. So that leads me to segue into our next topic. So we're gonna go into something a little bit more heavy. So
heavy? Oh no.
I mean, okay, well, all right. Well,
Jerry's not ready.
All right, we're not gonna do heavy yet. We'll do something.
I play. Do something funny.
No, we'll do something a little more light. All right. So then here's a question then. All right, what do you guys think led to the rise in anime or Japanese culture that we see recently with the explosion of content and content available everywhere? Because as I said before, like Toonami was it. Like Toonami was, you had Dragon Ball Z, Inuyasha at night, some Sailor Moon, maybe there were a couple others that you could catch someplace, but like maybe after 2010, there was an explosion, like a literal explosion of, anime media, anime culture, all of that. So what do you think led to the rise? And, is it something that, we need to keep on the rise?
I think it came from Pokemon, because everything in America is all about that dollar. You know what I mean? So when Pokemon did so well, not just well on how people were watching it, they were able to watch it religiously. They were able to do the cards. They were able to make video games. They were able to make movies just from that one series. And it was a never ending kind of series, which a lot of animes are super long. So because of that, you have these people who are like, hey, this is a cash cow, and all of this might bring us in some good, steady customers. And that's what happened. So then you started seeing like everything after that was when you saw all of that other stuff. Like I think Sailor Moon might be was it before Pokemon?
Give or take, yeah.
I think it might have been before.
And Sailor Moon was
94.
And when was Pokemon? 96?
97.
97. So yeah, Sailor Moon was the first one I had heard about, but the first one that Sailor Moon was big. Sailor Moon was big, but not as big as Pokemon was. And so when they realized there was a cash cow there, they started making it more accessible to kids. And then what happened is eventually those kids turned into what you see right now on your screens. And now you have people who are in the position to actually write this stuff and animate this stuff and create the stories. The kids who grew up with that stuff. So now that's why you see such a fervor and a hunger for this material. And I think really that's where it came from.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that. And maybe there are more of us that were watching Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon and Inuyasha than we realized. And like all of us are adults now, and like with Pokemon, like Pokemon's been able to stand the test of time for a while, like
long while,
right? So like multiple series, multiple not necessarily spin-offs kind of, and like made for TV movies and like feature film, and like they had like the live action one a couple years ago. So like it's been like the major thing for a while. Like even when it kind of still like amazes me how much Pokemon is still doing at this point. But yeah,
it's gonna go on forever. Did y'all hear they're gonna evolve Pikachu? By the way,
why? I don't know why they want to evolve Raichu. No,
they're gonna evolve. Ash's Pikachu is gonna evolve.
No, he does not need Raichu.
Huh? I have an update on that.
Okay, I didn't mean to get ahead. My bad.
No, you're good. But the episode's out. It's not Ash's Pikachu. It's the guy that he's with right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's
okay.
It's the new Ash's Pikachu.
We're not feeling Pikachu leveling up. No. You ruined my childhood.
Yeah, but yeah, basically that's it. Like all of us that have either dabbled in it or watched it. Like we're growing up, and like other people have caught on. And it's like it's been building, at least for American mainstream. Like just think of like looking on Netflix right now, how many different like types of so much on there right now. Even just like international content in general. But like anime on Netflix is pretty major.
It's popping right now.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think there's a few things that like have contributed for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say because like one of the other things is also like we kind of lost our like the websites that we used to watch anime on, because then it was kind of an in the closet kind of a thing, so you can only catch it online in certain places, and usually it's bootlegged and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because, I think, and the other thing I was gonna say that kind of helps is just the whole geek culture being cool again. You know what I mean? So now, like, anime is gonna, all these other things are going to become more mainstream and then become more popular, and then obviously people are gonna like dabble in them more and be more comfortable to do so. To try to watch different ones and stuff. And then another thing was also Rakia was kind of she made a point. I don't think without saying it, but like. We're also we were the kids who like saw it bootleg, like in the middle of the night or whatever. You know, we watched it on the low and we liked it. However, you know, we're adults now. We're also having kids, so it's like, what are we gonna watch with our kids? Our regular cartoons, or some of the cartoons that you used to watch, that you used to love, that you couldn't really watch out in the open before, but now it's so readily available. Like, of course we're gonna do that, and you know, and that's kind of, and then they're gonna just pile more of it on. The other thing is also because I reference because I used to be an internet pirate, right? So and pirating anime now is really hard, but that's also come with the change of, you know, with net neutrality and stuff. So like they're kind of cracking down on a lot of things. So you know, but you know, these streaming sources, they're not stupid. They know that there's an audience for anime. You know, we can't get it free anymore. But what are they going to do? Instead, they're going to provide it on our streaming network, where you just have to subscribe to watch it whenever you want. So it's kind of a few things.
I'd like to piggyback
that's really
that
like
point.
brought it back to the forefront. Yeah.
I'd like to piggyback Julian's point, stating that the economy is why anime is popular, because we talk about Revenge of the Nerds in the 80s, right? So when we were all 14 and 15, we were getting our lunch money taken, and then we got college degrees. We became successful. We bought houses. We got hot girls or hot guys, or, you know, for those of us that are SGL, we started to, you know, mingle with one another that are nerds. We started to create groups and empires. And then we started to cosplay, and we had money. So it wasn't a cheap Party City suit. Then social media was the additive catalyst for people to gain the audience, so that people could see, oh, that's just like me. So now we're living in this community where now it's not necessarily, oh, well, where are these people? It's, oh, what is the next big event? So I think the economy really, with us getting financial freedom, contributed to us indulging in our civil liberties as nerds to popularize this culture, because there's a lot of us, the people who were the sport jocks and, you know, the business gurus, they're in the business world doing their own thing. But at the end of the day, ain't nobody about to sit here and watch a PowerPoint on how you created your business all day. But if we're all dressed up like Power Rangers, everybody's going to be like, ooh, shiny colors. What is that? You know what I'm saying? And the next thing you know, you have special effects in your photos. You're doing collaborations with this other famous cosplayer. And then, you know, the next thing you know, everything just blew. And now it's like, you know, Saban is trash with what they're doing with Power Rangers. But it's just like, oh my God, Power Rangers. You know what I'm saying? A lot of what we saw as kids, we've now memorialized, we've idolized, and we've upped their stock, because we grew up with them, and now we can actually engage with them. And it's just like just yesterday, oh, God rest his soul, the voice actor for Cyclops in X-Men the animated series died at 57. So I think it was 57 or 51. Somebody correct me in the quote in the comments. But yeah, to see stuff like that, it's just like, oh my God, we just, you know, losing legacy. Then you go back and you watch X-Men TAS, because you're just like, oh my God, nostalgia. And all of this stuff is up stock at this point. So I'd like to say it was the economy, and now we can actually bring representation to this, so it's in demand.
All right, yeah, thank you, JC. I think piggybacking off of that, what I would have to say would be, and on an economic level, we all know that the conventions, I mean, especially Dragon Con, bring a lot of money to and popularity and, you know, attention to the geek culture. And every year the you know, conventions have a representation for a lot of different anime characters, and so and that gets celebrated, that gets revered. You know, the more inventive your costume, or the more obscure even sometimes your costume, or like, you know, like the people that really like dig in and dive in get rewarded for that kind of, you know, effort.
Craftsmanship.
You know, I love it. I love that. And you know, I think that has also led to, you know, some of the rise in popularity, and people see that as it's fun. Like, they're like, wow, these people are really enjoying themselves, and they're having fun, and they're living their best life, you know, not even as themselves, just representing a character at this convention, and just enjoying it, like really having a good time. And other people that may not have thought that was, you know, something that was cool, or something that, you know, they could get into before, see that as cool now, or see someone else doing it and think that, you know, that, like, I want to try that. So, you know, I think that's also led, like, all the conventions, not just Dragon Con. There are like 1,000 conventions, but Dragon Con being the biggest nerddom convention, you know, out there, I think really kind of paved some of the way for the rise and the popularity that we see nowadays, and the fact that we have so much content available. So yeah, awesome, great answers, everybody. You guys are coming with some fire. All right, so we're going to move on to our next topic of conversation. So we see several titles from anime series today being converted into live action movies or TV series or whatever. Is there a title that you guys can think of, not a non-anime title, sorry, that you guys can think of that might benefit from the reverse, like a live action to anime, and it would work? And also, as a two-parter, should we keep doing animes to live action? Does it translate? Do we think that that is a good idea? So whoever wants to go first, you can go.
Ooh.
This is a hard one.
It is a hard one. I have my answer already. I'm over it.
It's hard because it's like, what is my...
JC, go ahead.
As soon as you said that, the first thing I thought was Heroes.
Hero.
Yes.
Nissan Versa, Yes. So to see Peter Petrelli and a lot of other guys, and I think that they really just budgeting wouldn't have been as much as an issue if it was an anime versus being action. So that's when the writer's strike happened, so it's like that was a really good show. It had a good anime plot. Like Japan, if you can hear me, you know what's up. That's
It already lends itself to a comic book or something like that. And the beautiful thing about the way the second season happened was it opened so many doors, but then the writer's strike happened. But then I just feel like then we could have those characters back that we wanted to have back that were not able to come back for the reboot they just recently did. Yeah. And that is such. How do you think of this shit so quick?
Damn, that was quick,
right. I personally think I can answer part of your question. I'm gonna still think about the other one. I think they need to stop making anime movies into films, into live action, because I don't think it works. I think the beauty now, it could work. But I just think you would need so much money. Because the thing about anime that's amazing is the special effects, and if I don't get that, I was just crazy. It was in the group the other day, and somebody added the little live action. They shot the Azuka. I can't remember their names. What is Azuka and the guy with the burnt eye? Azula and Zuko and Azula. Yeah, sorry, thank you. Where they fought. They did a live, they filmed a live action version. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is great, because everybody looked the correct race, for one. So I was sold right then. Yeah. But then also the special effects were dope. So I was definitely into it. But then somebody in the comments was like, bro, this is whack because the special effects are trash. And I was ready to get on them. I cracked my fingers and everything. But then they showed a picture of the actual cartoon version. And I said, oh. And I was like, oh yeah, that is kind of
that fight
in comparison, right? And so like it would just cost to do that whole series, especially how this series is supposed to like compound on itself. It's supposed to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the last episode of season 1 was a big. There was a fucking water giant that came and crushed. You know what I'm saying? So the money that you would need to pay to make that movie right, to please everybody who was already pleased with it being animated. Look, like people don't even say that's one of the best animes. People will say that's one of the best shows. You know what I mean? So I think that's why they should just stop. Unless it needs to be told in a live action point of view, I don't think they need to do that anymore.
Okay. I'm going to go back to JC for just a second. JC, do you have an opinion about whether we should keep doing live action animes?
I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news here, but there is a twofold answer to this. And the reason why I'm conflicted is because while it may be really unnecessary to do this, I know that it gives jobs. So when you talk about doing a live action film, you also talk about employing, even if it's for a PA assist or if it's an extra, you're also igniting the hopes and dreams of a lot of people who just need that 15 seconds to keep them going. So from a literal standpoint, I think it's a waste of time. From a moral standpoint, I understand why this is a necessary Zarathustra, if you will, that recurs in the entertainment industry. It's just needed for people to, keep their dreams going, keep employment going, keep the economy going. Even if it was shit, somebody made some money.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. What a perspective.
That is a great perspective.
Lord. God. All right. Thank you, JC. All right. Go ahead, Julian.
I was gonna say, so I will say that of them, because the comment here is look what they did to Death Note, which is we had referenced the other day because that one was a disaster zone, but terrible. But I did see the Full Metal one, which was terrible, but in an endearing way. So it was a little bit different.
How could it was a little bit different for me. Way?
It was like it was so bad. Oh my god, his wig! I'm like, bitch, that wig needs to be laid. This wig is terrible.
You cannot mess up the wig, y'all.
No, you cannot mess up these wigs. Thank you. Man. Is it so hard? There was not a single drag queen on that entire set. Are you kidding? They couldn't get not one. They don't come that expensive. I know they could afford it. Come on. One good drag queen will lay that wig down right, okay? It was just so bad though. But anyway, that one was endearing in its own way. All you need is one. But like the special effects in that one weren't so terrible. They were underwhelming, because like there wasn't enough of them, and like if they had more money probably to throw out the budget and things, they could have probably like expanded a little bit better. But it wasn't. It was definitely better than the movie that shall not be named, and they had definitely more money to throw at that movie than they did at the Full Metal live action. So I also heard that Attack on Titan
treated like it's. All right, go ahead.
Wait, no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, how bad does the movie have to be for us to treat it like a real life Voldemort? Like we
cannot name it.
But
nobody would even talk about it.
we wouldn't even talk about his existence. Yeah, I just made a comparison that is an absolute paradox, just so everyone knows. But because I'm comparing a thing that does not exist. Right. But still, and then the Attack on Titan one I heard was not all good either. I haven't actually seen that one, but I heard it wasn't the best. Oh, speaking of which, I totally forgot. I have a costume change. Yes.
A costume change.
Yes, costume change.
Yeah,
yes.
Speaking of Attack on Titan, I thought I'd come with my cosplay, my light cosplay for the evening.
She came with the reveal.
She came with a reveal, exactly. Always prepared.
I can't.
Always prepared. All right, Rakia, do you have an opinion on either one of the split question? Either if we should keep doing anime as live action, or if you could think of a live action that might benefit from being an anime.
I don't know if I really have an opinion on this. Like, I can't necessarily have an opinion on anime that's gone to live action because I haven't fully invested in enough of one to give an
Understandable.
Opinion. Okay. But I'm all for supporting, for folks that want these things, sure. And for those that are just like, no, this isn't good, I understand. I won't, I'll be okay with that. As far as anything going in the opposite direction, good grief. Anything?
I would say Buffy, but no, I don't want that. I want live action.
No.
I mean, they already have the season 8 comics,
and that's not even. I want to see her kick somebody's ass.
Right. It has to be something supernatural for me. Maybe not necessarily witchcraft but something mystical. I can't.
Vampire Diaries?
No.
I think it benefits the best that way, you know, because like he was saying before, like, you lose the magic kind of anime, which is like the special effects, like when you bring it from anime to live action, you know. But it's like, I think any live action, any supernatural show will really benefit
one
from
show.
an anime
I don't know if y'all
version.
remember. There is a show I can think of.
What?
Sorry. It's this TV show. It was canceled, and it was a really, 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 really interesting TV show, and I got into it, but then they canceled it. It was called No Ordinary Family. It was like it was basically like The Incredibles, but it wasn't The Incredibles. Like this, it was like the mom was super. I forget the powers, but it was like one of the Panabaker sisters, and then it was Julie Benz and Michael Chiklis were the father. And then the son was like, each one of them had a different power. And there was like this dude trying to hunt them down. And I was so into that show. And then they canceled it. Granted, the reason I say that is because I feel like a show like that might have an audience if it was a cartoon. But you have to look it up. I'm going to look it up while y'all keep talking. I'm going to find it.
Well, no, I think that's a good answer. A couple of the things that I was thinking about that would be maybe a good crossover to an anime series would be, I was thinking more like high fantasy, and I wish that Jessa was here actually just to have this for this one conversation because she's our high fantasy queen. But I was thinking like The Witcher or Game of Thrones. Like,
I want to see that. I thought of that one too. Yeah,
you could really get into the magic and like really like explore the magic more in an anime, I think, or like just make the magic prettier or like better. I don't know.
Okay, if we're can we use material that isn't only in movies? Because I was gonna say like books as well. I mean, there's a movie as well, but I'd say like now that you say like fantasy and stuff, like not the Hobbit. What is it? The Lord of the Rings trilogy would have really benefited from being anime, even though their live action did do a really good job.
I feel like if you're
really
gonna
benefited
make
from being anime, there's like a lot of.
The reason I want to disagree. Only reason I say that is because when JC brought up the heroes thing, everyone's response. You see what I'm saying? Like that would be the only reason to make something that's not animated was because it's going to elicit that response, like, because then everybody's going to just dive into it. Game of Thrones, when Joffrey died, I wanted to see that. Just the way I saw it. Just the way I saw it. You know what I'm saying?
I want to see a human person die.
At that point, that is literally that one character in all of characterdom that I've ever literally just been like, yes. You know what I'm saying? I got ugly with it.
I identify.
God. I'm usually like a pacifist with that, but to him, I was like, you get.
I actually wanted to watch Joffrey die.
And so that's why it's a conversation. That's why we're throwing things out there. Whatever sticks to the wall sticks.
Characters. Professor Umbridge, hate that bitch. Every time I see her, I can't.
Harry Potter. Harry Potter was one that I thought about in the whole thing, and I thought about it, and I was like, would Harry Potter make as good of an anime? And I don't know if it would.
I disagree. Speaking of Umbridge, though, do y'all think Umbridge? Y'all remember that scene when they were where Umbridge and McGonagall were on the steps, and they kept throwing shade at one another? Who has the hands in that fight?
Yeah,
hands in that fight. McGonagall.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay,
definitely McGonagall.
McGonagall's always had
Umbridge
the
only
hand
won by power of.
What was you about to say, Julian?
What was you about to say?
Yeah, he start talking, then stop talking. Oh, by the way, I found the powers.
Because you were saying something, so I was going to say, but McGonagall's that bitch, you know what I mean? But like, no, Umbridge only won by power of like of authority, you know what I mean? She was like, oh, I'm gonna go to the ministry, bitch. I'm gonna get you fired. That's really what she went. She went fired on.
Basically, like, really McGonagall is like, I'm sorry, what's his name? What's the name with the pink? What's her name again?
Umbridge.
Umbridge was Karen.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Definite Karen. Umbridge had no real power. McGonagall could have slayed her in a second.
Absolutely.
Let's reel it back. Reel it back. Reel it back.
Reel it back. All right. I'm sorry. All right. Now, all right. Thank you guys for contributing to that portion of the conversation. What we're going to do now, we're actually going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we may have one other topic that we can discuss, but we are definitely going to discuss some titles for you guys. If for some reason we have some viewers that are not that familiar with anime, don't know exactly where to start. They're like, I'm interested, but I don't even know where to start. So we've got some titles, but first we're going to take a quick break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Okay.
Hi, I'm Jessalyn Pease Garrett, author of Timeless, The Law of the Coven, my new book that came out August 1st of this year. This is the second in the Timeless series, and it features a teenage witch. She's gonna hone her magical abilities, and we're gonna pit her against a dark coven of witches. So I hope you enjoy this book as much as I enjoyed writing it. Timeless, The Law of the Coven is available online from all your favorite retailers. Thanks, guys.
It's like she's with us here tonight.
I know. That's her new book. You can get it right now. Both of her books are available right now, so go get them.
Go get them. She is a phenomenal writer from what I've heard, so you soak that up. All right. So real quick, before we go into our final topic of just like listing some titles for everybody to watch, I did want to just have a kind of a fun topic of if you could live in an anime universe of any title that you know of currently. I mean, it doesn't even have to be one that you've watched, but you may know about it. Like, if you could live in that universe, which title would you live in? And would you be an existing character? Or would you make up your own character? All right, let's go, Duryea.
You always go to me first. Me? I don't know. Because that's not an easy question for me to answer. If it was, so before I answer that, Avatar is not anime.
Sorry, sir. No.
Correct?
Oh God.
Hard no.
All right. We're gonna agree to that on this show. We're gonna agree
this moment
to that in this moment.
I'm asking is
fine
because I don't think it's not Japanese, but okay. So if Avatar is not an option, then I would either go to Pokemon or Inuyasha, because those are my favorites. I'm honorable mention of Dragon Ball Z just because they seem to have like a lot of cool powers, but I don't understand the rules of that world, so I don't want to go somewhere where I don't know what the fuck is going on.
There are no rules.
Gotcha.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know.
I don't know. There's never any rules.
If I was in Pokemon, I would want, of course, make my own character because there were never enough black people in Pokemon. And I would be that dude who always wants to smoke. I literally be like, every time they see him come, oh, fuck, it's this mama. You know what I'm saying? I would want to be that dude. And I have my Pokeballs like attached to my hole down my jeans. And you know, if I have to bend over, I'm going for a motherfucking Mewtwo or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's when you know I'm mad. That's what I'm
You're being ridiculous for no reason.
Rakia, what universe would you live in? Go ahead, girl.
Okay, so I would have to agree. I would totally do Pokemon just because I want like I'm in the game myself and just playing it how I want to. But I was thinking about Sailor Moon, and I was thinking like, no, like the villains in Sailor Moon are like scary as heck. Like when they get like super extreme, it's just like it's like pointy edges and like deep voices, and I'm like, I get kind of scared. I don't want to be in that one. So I guess for a good time, I go to Pokemon.
For a good time.
For a good time.
Right.
Not a long time.
Not a long time. For the good time.
All right, Julian, what would you say?
Okay, probably hands down Full Metal Alchemist. That one is definitely like one. That one is so good, man. I love it. Like the magic system is like really well thought out, I thought, and it just resonated with me really well. Like, so I'm like, I think it was one of the cooler ones, and I would totally be in for that one. Yeah, It would definitely be Full Metal. Something about it. I wouldn't really say like Dragon Ball Z or any of those other ones, but Sailor Moon. Honestly, when I was a kid, because I forget. Like we were talking about like the things that we watched when we were kids and like what kind of like broke us into it. But I definitely watched like Sailor Moon hardcore when I was younger. I kind of forget. There's a lot that I've actually seen when I was younger that I don't remember. Like what was the other one? Oh my god, the old school one where they had like the G-Force. You guys don't remember that one at all? It's where they had like they all look like birds. Yeah, they had the capes and they had like the fucking wings and stuff. And that shit was awesome. And they were all like in white, but they had like a strip of a different color, and that was like their thing. And they were like the Power Rangers, but they were like Falcons or some crap like that. Like it was amazing. Yeah. Still, you know what I mean? There's like this list is pretty robust, but like I've got a lot of anime in there, and a lot of stuff that I think is unexpected. I think there's like a lot of us probably saw these like as kids, just didn't really realize that they were anime for us, because that's when it was like kind of just breaking into it, is when anime was still kind of in the closet, I keep saying. So yeah.
Would you want to be like an existing character or make up your own?
I'd love to make up my own. I love making up my own. Like my thing is like the universes is what I fall in love with. I do fall in love with the characters, but I want to be those characters. I want to live near them. Gotcha. also because I want to date Ed, because Edward Ulrich is like so hot. Totally for it.
All right, well then, JC, and thank you, Julian. JC, what would you say universe would you live in, and would you create a character or be an existing character?
I would create a character in a little anime called Kekai Sensen, which is also known as Blood Blockade Battlefront. Wow. If you guys are not familiar, it comes from the same studio as Soul Eater. It was actually one of their successor titles. Yeah. This show is amazing. It's like this post-apocalyptic noir style New York that's trying to be saved from demons, and there's another dimension that's like impending. Main character gets this thing called the Eyes of God. For you guys who have not seen it, I won't go into much more detail, but there's a character on this show that I just adore. His name is Zappa, and he works with Libra. This is one of the few animes I actually suggest that you watch on English dub rather than Japanese sub, because the English dub for this cast is just absolutely spectacular. Just tone, accents, slang, it was all just done so well. But yeah, I would make a new character there and try to join Libra, which is the organization that fights demons. Yeah, it's when you see the show, you'll understand what I mean. It's a great place.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to send that in the comments for this group so that I can remember to watch that, because that sounds great. Thank you so much. Obscure. Yes, I have not heard of that one. Thank you so much. All right. As far as me personally, if I were living in any anime universe currently of anything that I've seen, it would either be Fairy Tail or Soul Eater, I think. Those two are, and I can't even like decide probably which two.
You're gonna ask the question, and you don't know which one you're gonna pick.
It's so good. Both of them are so good. I think maybe though Fairy Tail, even though I think Soul Eater is probably the better show, Fairy Tail, I like that magic and I like that universe better. So I would probably be in that show, and I would want to invent a new character, though I don't know exactly what my power would be. I'd have to kind of figure that out. But I'd want to invent a new character. All the characters that are in the show are great, but I want to be myself. So anyway, so that actually concludes our topics for tonight as far as the main topic. Before we get into just some titles that we want to talk about, just to make sure everybody knows that we have some anime titles. If you want to watch something and you want to get into anime, we've got some titles for you to check out. Okay. I do have some other topics that are a little bit deeper and a little bit heavier into anime, and we may, if we have another anime episode, like a 102 episode, then I'm going to save those for that. And we may do that one day. So, but know that I have some topics that, you know, get into some stuff with some anime, but this was just more an introductory. All right. So as far as some titles that I am interested in anime, and that what got me started in anime, like some things that I think you could do as a jumping off point. And I want everybody to list a few titles that they have. I'm just going to do like 5. I have like 17 listed here, but I'm just going to do like 5 because I'm sure there's some overlap. All right. I really, really obviously appreciated Sailor Moon. That was what got me into it. So I'm going to say that first. Everybody loves Dragon Ball Z, so I'm going to let somebody else say that. Attack on Titan, a great anime. Death Note, a great anime.
Some people in the comments are talking about that one.
Oh, actually, I'm gonna let Julian do Full Metal, so I'm gonna save that one. Soul Eater was one of my favorite. It got me back into anime, so it's one of my favorites. It's amazing. If you have the time, watch Soul Eater. Black Butler.
What?
Black Butler.
That's the name of an anime? I'm offended.
No,
it don't matter. It don't even matter.
Racial. It's not racial.
Even matter. I'm offended.
It's not racial at all, but it's a good anime. You should watch it. All right. Those are my 5. I'm gonna let somebody else. Why don't you? I'm gonna not start with Duryea because he picked on me. Julia, you start.
Okay. Ooh. All right. So obviously, Full Metal Alchemist, I'm gonna go with. There are technically 2 versions of this, just so everyone knows. There's Full Metal Alchemist and then Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. The thing with that is that one of them came out before the manga actually finished. The manga that they based it off of actually finished. And then they did a whole storyline afterwards for that followed the actual manga as it's supposed to go. So Full Metal, there's 2 versions of it. Watch them both. Brotherhood is the not the original. It's the true version. It's the one that follows the actual manga. And then Full Metal Alchemist, just as is. That's the one that they had done to a point, and then they kind of went creatively at the end of it.
Brotherhood.
So that would be my
Brotherhood.
No, Brotherhood is the one that follows the story properly, like 100%, and the other one, Full Metal without Brotherhood, is just it's good, but it's kind of made up at the end in a way, basically. But that one's still obviously top notch. I was also gonna say Magi is I just said it before, but that would be one to watch. It'll help you like really break into that. And then along with that, they have the Tales of Sinbad, which also kind of take place in that universe because it's just characters that are also in Magi are also in obviously Sinbad. So those go hand in hand. What else would I say? Like a good break-in. Oh, obviously anything Studio Ghibli is a great break-in. Like Ponyo is so cute. Howl's Moving Castle. Tales. I don't think Tales of Earthsea is Studio Ghibli. So I wouldn't really suggest that one on that one. Well, I would suggest that one specifically. Tales of Earthsea. That one is a good one. I do like that one. It's a nice break-in. It's a little bit more fantasy and then plot driven than you're gonna get out of Studio Ghibli, which is usually a little bit cuter. And then I would probably say
Studio Ghibli.
7 Deadly Sins. That's always a good one. I mean, okay, it's really bad actually. It's a lot of fun. It's terrible. It's terrible in their delivery of some of the things that they talk about. But it's a good time. And then
I love 7 Deadly Sins. I love it.
I know.
It's 7 Deadly Sins.
It is a good one. Yeah. Oh, and then Gundam Wing, I'd say. What am I on? I needed 5. Yeah, Gundam Wing is a good one. That's like old school. I forgot about that one.
That is old school.
I know. All right, that's my top 5.
Well, all right, then Rakia, do you have a top 5? If you don't have a top 5, then just name what you would like to see in anime as a top 5.
Okay, so I don't have a top 5, but I'm really interested in checking out at least one of these suggestions. So I'm going to say that. I'm gonna say that I'm really interested in trying out any of these suggestions, so I'll keep those in mind. So y'all go ahead. Mm-hmm.
All right, what one? What's the one? You got to tell us which one.
Oh, well, any of them, honestly. Like, I'll watch Attack on Titans. Let's see, there was one that was mentioned earlier. Hero Academia sounded good.
Hero Academia, that one is good.
Yeah, that was on the comments. That one's a good one.
Yeah. So, like, I'll check them out.
For it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead.
All right, girl, that's fine. JC, I know you got some opinions. Go ahead.
Really quickly, Seraph of the End, if you have not seen it, really good anime based on vampires and superpowers. Girl Vanishing Line, very Cowboy Bebop. There's a very famous fight with Luke and Kane.
Yes.
Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion, deals with mechs and espionage. Excellent, by far my favorite anime of all time. Also want to suggest Junie Tyson, which is a murder mystery based on Americans Greek zodiacs. And the last one I would have to recommend is the Fate series, long-standing series. There are multiple branches. It exists between two different universes, and there's a lot of watch time between them.
Yes. The Fate series. I am familiar. Yes. Okay. Well, okay. Thank you, everybody, for those suggestions. Hopefully, anybody that
suggestion,
huh?
I don't get to make a suggestion.
Oh yeah, I skipped you. That's right.
You did.
I skipped you for a reason. That's fine. No, go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
One person. The only thing I'm going to suggest you watch. I think Inuyasha is one of the best pieces of anything that's ever been created. To me, it's like really well thought about. It's got some really deep human themes that connect all four of the main characters, and they deal with loss and feeling lost while still being surrounded, and the idea of finding a family. And I feel that, sometimes people don't treasure their friendships well enough. When you really realize that at telling someone that they're your friend is pretty much the biggest compliment they can give you, because they're basically saying that, I'm assigned this family, but this family is the one I craft, and you were allowed to be in it. So anyway, I wanted to point out a comment that somebody made from the comments. Gotta Have Faith said earlier, to where we were talking about what movies should be turned into anime. She said Pacific Rim would have been better as an anime. I agree.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed. 100%. That was a good one.
All I have to say. All I have to say is submit the screenplay. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. All right. Well, thank you, Duryea. Thank you for that contribution.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody, for your contributions tonight. This has been a great discussion. I have really enjoyed it. So we are wrapping up tonight's discussion. Thank you for geeking out with us tonight. This has been a great, entertaining talk. So if you guys want to check us out again, we are going to be live again 2 weeks from tonight, where Jessa, who is not here tonight, but because it's her birthday and because she has something else, she's making her coin. She's going to be taking us on another high fantasy journey. It's going to be basically a Ren Fest in our homes, and we're going to be super excited to accommodate that. So thank you guys for being here with
us. Go. Also, remember that we want you guys to dress up too. We're all going to be.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes. That's right. We're LARPing.
In 2 weeks, we're going to be doing an in-home medieval festival. Jessa says her favorite thing to do is go to the festival, and since we can't this year because of Rona, we're going to be doing it from our homes. So send us your selfies of you and your best LARPing. Come. Bring things that you want from the fair, or if you've never been, this would be a cool way for us to walk you through what it's like to be at an actual medieval fair.
Eat your turkey leg, have your goblet. Literally, if you have some, chainmail, please be wearing it and send us your selfies. Thank you so much. And yeah, is there anything else that anybody wants to say before we dismiss for tonight? Well, thank you guys
for having me.
Thank y'all
for being here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Come back next time, and we're gonna have a great time.
All right,
have a good
guys.
night, everybody.
Thank you for geeking out with us.
Bye.
Good night.